Look how they tricking us, using wickedness just to sicken us. Ridiculous. Supposed to be about love.
Welcome to the BrokeMans Podcast.
Fixing my biological clock. Circadian rhythm is all I got.
BrokeMans Podcast, we are here. We are here. Welcome to the BrokeMans Podcast. M.A. Johnson.
Yes,
How we doing?
I'm here, black and blessed, live and direct. I'm happy to be here.
Hey, happy to have you here, man. So we kick it off on the BrokeMans Podcast with some gratitude, a couple things. I'll kick it off first. Today I am grateful for hiking. Right before this podcast, I got into nature, did some hiking with a few friends for about 3 hours.
Right.
3 to 4 hours.
Right.
Then drove back, legs tired, body tired, mind rejuvenated from the peace. We hiked in silence a lot of it.
Yeah.
Great conversations come through it. And I'm also thankful for autonomy, my freedom. I'm grateful for the power of choice. I'm very grateful for the power of choice, man. But go ahead.
Well, I'm grateful for my traveling grace, just being able to travel from the west side back to the Midwest, and no bumps and bruises, and with the hands of God covering me through the swamps and wherever I went. It was rainy here and all that. I didn't expect any of that, but I'm grateful for travel and being able to make it to and from. I'm grateful for you. It was so unplanned. Like, I met you, and I think the energy just hit off right away.
Yeah, it did.
And
without words.
Yeah, it was just like
without words.
Magnetic.
Yeah.
I would say, because like I told you when I walked in, I was just optimistic. I was just like, okay, I just hope and pray though for something like me to walk in, and I didn't know by the name who was going to come through those doors.
Yeah.
And then I saw you. I'm like, okay. So I didn't know what that was going to lead to, but I just knew it was happy energy. It was welcoming, and I felt safe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nah, it was.
Yep.
Yeah. We may be working at the same place, no name needed.
Yep.
But when M.A. Johnson, walked in to kind of get to know where he's going to work at, never seen him a day in my life. He'd never seen me. And he had to shadow with me for a couple of hours. And that couple of hours turned into a lot of hours.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of great talks and a lot of great conversations. And when I tell you it just flowed without a hiccup or a bump in the road at all, yeah,
Most
you can
definitely.
tell. Yeah, that energy.
Yes, sir.
That energy flows, man.
It do.
Yeah,
It
that
do.
energy flows.
And it's needed too. You know, I kind of like I protect my energy. I don't take it where I'm not wanted and where people don't want to receive it. Like, you could tell if I want to be somewhere, if I don't. You know what I'm saying? And I go where I'm not tolerated. I go where I'm celebrated too. So I'm not that type of guy that just be out everywhere kicking it. You know, unsuccessful celebrations and stuff like that. So I earn anything that's happy in my life, and I protect it, bro. I protect
Go where
it.
you're celebrated.
Yep.
Wow.
Not tolerated.
Dig deeper into that.
Well, you know, let's just make an example. Like, you could be from somewhere, and you can be put in an environment by default, just being born, and then you grow up somewhere, and you from there, and everybody know you from there, and they know who you are, but they don't know who you are. And just because they know some of your flaws and things like that, and who you connected to, you just are just like a piece of nothing. And you feel like you everything, but you can't. You can't blossom where you at. So you not only sometimes does it be the environment, it could be you. So you have to remove yourself out of the environment and go where you accept it at, and people praise you for the things that you accomplish.
And that's different from adapting, correct?
That's different from adapting. It's different. You know what I mean? Because like you can go somewhere and never adapt. You can just go there and be. You understand what I'm saying? And take the same mindset to where you came from and live like that. But like when you go with purpose and you move out of the environment instead of trying to take away the environment, and you have a purpose in doing things and showcasing, and you being your human self, and people clapping for you, applauding you, recognizing you, it's totally different.
If I feel that when I walk into a place and I hear certain voices, I see certain patterns, I hear certain words, and I can even notice if somebody across the room has like high anxiety. If I know it's going to throw me off, I'll walk away in peace. Right. If I know I don't belong there, not even belong there. If I know something's off there and it's going to throw off my energy and my peace, I am more than happy to walk away and say, I am good. Now, when it comes to adapting, walking in different places and walking into the unknown, I'm okay with that. I can adapt anywhere.
You can
but
adjust.
If I truly don't want to be there, I am not going to be there.
No.
And I take that with hanging out with people as well.
You?
Yeah, go ahead. Speak on it.
Dude, I'm the same. I'm the same exact way. I don't care. You know, like, let's just say, like, we going out to the... You invited me somewhere the other day, and I didn't show, right? But
yeah.
if I would have walked in there, and I know you wouldn't invite me somewhere that's just from our first interaction, you wouldn't tell me to come somewhere.
Never.
You get what I'm saying?
That
But
is
just
not me,
let's
yeah.
just say, let's play devil's advocate.
Okay, let's play it. Let's play it.
It's the nice club with the fruit juice pouring on the wall and the cigarette smoking and the weed smoking, everything. Like, this is my habitat. This is what I come from.
Yeah.
And we in here and you got me in here and I'm like, he know dang well this ain't my speed. I'm walking out. You gonna be like, you might hear from me, but I'm gonna wait till you recap. I'm gonna wait till you have your night. I'm not gonna call and spoil it, but we gonna talk and I'm like, hey man, I don't do that.
I don't.
And I know you wouldn't, but I'm just saying.
I'm saying I can speak on that too. I can't stand it.
And we don't know this about each other, but we kind of can feel it.
feel it. I do not do that.
You might walk in there and lose a dread.
I'm not going in there in the place smelling like a wino, man. Not doing that.
And respectfully, like, I'm not shunning nobody or saying, like, they can't do what they want to do, but it's just not me.
It's not me.
You understand what I'm saying? It's I grew up in a place where I was born in depression. I got PTSD. I'm paranoid. So I have a sense of, like you said, I can feel the room. You understand? I'm watching people watch other people. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I've been the guy that made sure my people had a good time and I stayed sober for them to, you know what I mean? And I'm the driver.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
That's me, fully.
man, I'm not going nowhere where I'm not wanted and I don't, and the things in there that I don't do. I've had that on this level and that level, like California style. Like, the way they party is different the way that I see a party.
I did that for years, man. Not years, actually. Even when I went places, I used to drive there because when I want to leave, I'm leaving. If I can't feel it and it's not for me, I'm leaving. I have no problem doing it at all. At all. And I don't like going to places where my spirit is not wanted or my spirit doesn't want to be there. It's telling me to go. This is not for you. You know better. I know to listen now. When I was young at certain points, I didn't listen. And I stayed there. And now I stayed there unhappy the whole entire time.
Some people wouldn't understand. Unapologetically, I don't feel like it's a need to say, man,
Yeah.
I can't. I'm just walking out. You understand what I'm saying? So that's just me. And even if you did know, I felt like you probably knew, but I had to turn you the other way to say, hey.
I appreciate that, though. No, we can still speak about it because the energy is crazy.
Yeah, like, because it's just, like, I've been through a lot of things, man, and I can kind of predict how the night is going to end. You understand what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's things that I think, you know, when you got happy, good energy, safe energy, good-spirited energy, and you use that in a place where you got a contamination of different type of energies, it's not gonna connect right. So that's what makes you not want to be there.
We vibrating differently too. I can feel that. is not the place. I can tell your mind and your body's not at peace. I'm going the other way.
Yes,
'Cause you're gonna
sir.
start disturbing me, and I can feel that. Vibrating on a different frequency.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I can feel that.
Yep.
Yeah, man, that energy gets pretty bad. And so when we talk about energy and we talk about boundaries, I speak my boundaries.
Yep.
I speak them loud and clear.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that?
Self-awareness is good. Understanding what you will accept and what you will not accept is ultimately great for you as a human being. People need to know that what they can do with you and what they cannot, and what you will tolerate and what you will not. Respectfully,
Yeah.
you understand what I'm saying? You deserve that right too. And it's crazy because, like, just imagine growing up with people,
Yeah.
and then you grow away from them, but then you see them because you know them, you got ties,
You got ties.
and then you come back around and you like, hey, I ain't with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Straight up, I'm not with that. Like, imagine being in the gang growing up and you ain't seen nobody in 20 years and they see you, you come to the block and the hand come out, and then they try to do all of this,
Yeah.
but you neutralize the handshake in between. Like, nah.
I do that all the time.
You
I
get what I'm
neutralize-
saying?
I neutralize the
Now
handshake.
you see
man.
the people whisper like, dog, different. He weird. I'm weird. Yeah, I'm weird. I'm changed weird.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, like, things like that, understand it. The way that I separated what all you thought I did for the 20 years prior to this, I'm over that.
Yeah.
And you need to know,
Yes.
I ain't in that.
And even respect your boundary for that too.
You understand what I'm saying? I'm not initiated like you thought I was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm something else. I'm a parent. Like, honestly, I don't, not just like that, but I'm a youthful parent. Like, I parent a lot of children. What if I get somebody get a video of me doing that and it pop on the internet, and I'm out here telling children not to be like that?
Lead by example.
Exactly. So boundaries are really good, even for youth. You know, they come from a background and they, you know, the kid energy. And you got to have kid-like energy a little bit too, but you got to let them know you still an adult.
Yep.
So I think boundaries and everything like that, what you will accept, what you will not, is very imperative to you and your self-awareness.
I like that. What are some tools people can use to protect their energy or protect their peace? How do you start with that?
Man, meditation.
Hey, for real. Yeah, I tell people about that all the time. They see it as a joke. It is real.
Man,
It is real.
Spending
People like, you're just meditating and what? Breathing and closing your eyes? No, it goes
no,
deeper than that.
It is deeper than that. Meditation, whatever form of meditation you want to utilize. I spend a lot of time by myself traveling. So, like, the things that people normally do when they in the car,
Yeah.
I'm weird. Like I said, like, they wouldn't imagine what I do. I don't listen to music when I'm by myself. You understand? I have levels of concentration. I might have a focused meditation, and I'm, you know what I mean? And ultimately, like a prayer. You know, sometimes the meditation is in the prayer.
It's a form of it, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? But, like, let's say I don't have music. I'm listening to the ambience in the car. You know what I mean? And sometimes I crack the window so I can get a little bit of the seep and the sibilance through the window. But then I sometimes let it all the way down so I can hear what nature sounds like in speed. And sometimes you cannot uniform it. You cannot make sense of it. But it does something to
speaks to
you and your psychoacoustics. Because, like, I'm musically inclined. And nature helps me be who I am. So sometimes, like, even just going to sit in nature, write in nature, visualize in nature helps. And that's another form of meditation for me. So I think meditation is probably number one for me alongside of praying. I just think you got to understand who you are.
You do. And understanding who you are, another practice that I have is silence.
Silence.
I do everything that, like, when we were hiking today, and I can hear the music in the air, and I can hear the wind hit the trees and make a sound. People don't think about how beautiful that is. When the wind and the trees and the leaves are making music, or the water with the
man.
wind.
Oh, that's different.
It's different.
That's
And you're actually listening to it and getting in tune with it, man. It could bring you a lot of peace. It could bring you a lot of peace, and that's that balance you need. That's that peace you need. That's that real energy.
No, for real. It's unpredictable too, and you know how to prepare for the unknown. It's just having that open and optimistic mindset and not expecting nothing. You know what I'm saying? And you talk about tools. I talked about being by myself in the form of isolation, but
Healthy.
but laughing by yourself is another one. Enjoying you and the things you know you can do, the things you know you're about to do, things you have done.
Feels good.
Self-celebration.
It feels good.
Yep.
It
Laugh,
does. It feels good.
praising yourself, like things like that. Like we got to be selfish sometime, and I think, man, you don't need to laugh. You don't got to laugh with people and be happy with other people all the time. You got to learn how to be like that with yourself, and I think
Come to
that's
yourself like that, yeah.
yeah, just a lot of self stuff, man. Like when you think about it. So
I went to the movies alone a few times. I used to I would go to the movies alone, walk around the mall alone, do a lot of things alone, and being okay with it, actually being happy with it. It was a little scary at first walking there, like, what am I doing? But once I sat down and started looking at the movie, bro, I had a good time.
it's
I had
okay.
a great time, and I was like, oh, hi, me. What's up, me? Like, we here. This is us. And then I really started digging into who I am. And it starts being selfish and spending some healthy isolation time. Spending time alone, spending time in silence. Silence is a whole conversation by itself.
Right.
By itself, you're hearing your thoughts. They're going to speak. It gets loud. The silence gets loud. All your anxiety, all your fears speak up. All your thoughts start to talk.
Man.
You can hear every piece of you in that silence, all your questions. And I think that's when I began to journal, too. Because I started to hear things. And I was like, I got to write this down. Something's speaking to me, and it's getting loud. And that's because I was in silence.
Man, I like to topic that with, I call it dating yourself. What you just said.
Yeah,
you said
absolutely.
you took yourself to the movies.
Yep.
I take myself out to eat as well. I sit alone. Like, I think about nothing too sometimes, but like date yourself.
Yeah. That's loving yourself, man.
Loving yourself.
Loving yourself.
Like I told you, there's a lot of self stuff.
It is. Cooking. I was cooking, and cooking is another form for me of being in nature. I was taking my time and cutting up all the vegetables, getting everything prepared, and actually like loving myself and feeding my body, creating that good energy while I was cooking.
Yes, sir.
And then putting it in my body, and then meditating and writing.
Yeah, man, we connected, man. And here's
Yeah.
another tip, though. I'm not going, and I know people probably be like, just disconnecting from the world and like social media, like the phone. Fast, because I fast every day. It's got to be times where you just, because it's so much. You can have nothing on your brain, but you can have everything on your brain when you get the phone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it contaminates the mind. It's a lot of subliminal advertising. It's a lot of stuff that we can't, feel or see that's hitting us in different frequencies, in between the frequencies that we ultimately already operating on. But that phone and all the things you can hear, see, and the things that it make up in the mind and in the soul and the spirit, it changes you instantly. So I think that's the huge tip, like disconnecting from the social network is very imperative to life.
You spoke about that as adults, us, and we're speaking to adults out there about the phone, about how it can contaminate you and influence you, essentially. It really can. I'm very careful about what goes into my mind, what I feed my ears with, because a lot of times it can become you, and you have no idea why. But if you take that and you give it to a child, and you wonder why your child is off, because you don't give them any time to separate from that or teach them about that or teach them why, and it's just here. And they're just, I've seen a kid like that before, man. Just glued to it, and you take it away, they throw a fit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. With that, the next generation is Those are the leaders of the world.
Yeah.
How can they lead the world when they're led by so much contamination? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We didn't have those resources growing up. And I'm not saying that it's ultimately all bad.
It is not all bad, but we need balance, and you need to know how to control it. You need to know yourself, and you need to know I knew today when I was going hiking, we are all putting our phones up. I was very thankful. We all put our phones in the car. We went hiking 3-4 hours. Got back, and man, I can breathe. I didn't immediately get back and like, oh my God, I got it. No. I was like, we're here. We're here. And those times are needed.
And you know the communication now is different too, like the phones. We remember pagers back in the day,
remember that,
2
the
ways.
kicks.
So imagine like telling a significant other like you're not talking on the phone for a day. That's a problem. Not only are you going to just talk on it, you're going to get involved in other things. Even conversations are interrupted by default because you ain't got to put your ear on it.
Yeah.
You could just talk through the speaker and then you really not locked in on the conversation. You checking all these emails. And I'm not blaming social media for anything, but you're checking your social media the most. All of these networks you connected to, it put dampers on real life relationships, man. You can't, like, sometimes you just need to be like, I don't want to utilize my phone. I don't even want to touch my phone today.
It's the choices we make and what we allow. It has nothing to do with social media. Social media could be a great tool. We took that tool and did something else. It's what we do with it. It's a good tool, but it's what we do with it.
You absolutely right.
Are, as creatures, man, those things get addictive. And if I know for a fact that I have problems sometime with my phone, I can feel that if my phone's over there, when I notice myself get a little hesitant, want to grab it real quick, something's off. I got to put that up. And that's going to be, it's a constant battle. It's never going to be a whole thing where you got it all together. Never.
Nah, because I'm a victim too.
Yeah, we're all victims, but you got to stay balanced. You got to remind yourself of it too. So accountability to yourself.
Yes,
which goes into self-education.
Self-education. I told you this was all about self.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. Speak on self-education and what it is.
Man, self-education is intentional. It's like the process of being selective about what you want to learn in an informal like manner. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To dig deep, like even somebody like me, like my longest professional formal career has been education, school. Started when I was 4, all the way up through to college. I graduated college. So yes, discipline in that. I love that part. But I was bothered by some of the subject matter growing up. Like, why do I have to learn this? Why?
Man, it still bothers me when I see it.
You know what I'm saying?
It still bothers me, man.
So sometimes, to be successful, you have to do the things you don't want to do, right?
True.
So
That's
just
true.
understanding that and that discipline, and that's a life lesson. But just thinking about my longest formal career, and I wouldn't even say, like, school is not a job, right? But things change over the years, and, going to college, you get to be a little bit more selective.
Yes.
But in that career that I had breaks. I even dropped out of school before. If nobody knew, I dropped out of school.
Oh, yeah.
I dropped out of high school. I almost didn't make it there. And I dropped out of college and I went back. All because of the discipline and the feeling and the urge of other things, not the subject matter. But I figured out, it's a finesse game. I utilized it to try to build things that I really wanted to do, and the things outside of school. I was kind of like into all of the arts and stuff like that. Like, I'm an artist, so music, barbering, just drawing, painting,
all that creative work helps.
Yeah,
Becoming a whole person, it helps.
very therapeutic for me. So, like, while I was thinking about
Fixing my
Go ahead. All right, we're kicking it off. We back.
all right, well, so yeah, I talked about selectivity and choosing between what I wanted to learn in school. Basically, I was doing a lot before even entering college, and I was just like picking these majors and just dropping the major, switching the major. None of the stuff was working out, and I needed to find something customizable for me. I wish I could have created my own major while I was in school trying to trial everything. But everything that I wanted to do, I was already doing it already. So like the music,
Yeah.
the entertainment, and I wish I could have added barbering to the actual school that I graduated from. But I was like, I'm into the entertainment business already. Why not go to school for radio, TV, and film? I was like, oh, and I can get an emphasis in music industry business. I was doing that already, so it just made sense. And I'd have been all over the United States for college. It's crazy, but I ended up back home, and I was able to pick a college that suited me well. Nobody thought that it would do me well, and they thought I wouldn't make it out because they only count black people as a number. But I was able to get over the stigma and neutralize me as a student and made a name for myself and whatever I did. Now, on the same token, like I was playing basketball for the school as well. I joined film society while I was doing all of this, and just trying to be a superhero at the same time and a human. So it was just like, man, this is fun, And ultimately, I stopped playing ball and I started focusing on my major, and I got out of there, and it was just a continuation of what I was already doing. I had a little bit more knowledge, a little bit more status, and that school helped me jumpstart my actual career. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was, being more selective and self-educated. I started the journey before I even got on the journey, especially by being in school all of these years. Like I talk about that being my longest professional, formal career. Like I had a lot of pit stops where I learned more outside of school to help me get out of school. And I didn't even know I was going to pick that at the end of the day, but it was at that school at the right time and the right moment. So I was self-educated and I needed some gems along the way.
Yeah.
And you got to be selective about what you want to learn too, because everything you learn in school, you're probably not going to apply it. You understand? Only certain things stick. And you got to be intentional. So that's what I ended up becoming, an intentional, selective person. And I was self-educated, but I had a boost by going to school. Yes, sir.
Self-driven?
Self-driven.
Need it. Self-driven, absolutely need it. Self-education. I think that goes, I think you got to be that way until the day you go.
Yes, sir.
Always be a student. Always a student of the work, always studying, always reading, always learning something new, always taking in different perspectives and processing it and realizing if you can use it or not. But I do find self-education very important. A lot of things you do have to learn on your own.
Yes, sir.
You do.
Yes, sir.
You do. And that goes all the way back to self. You got to learn how to love yourself. Can't nobody educate you on that. Can't nobody educate you on that. You have to love yourself. Now we're going from self-education all the way to self-care.
Self-care, man. Ooh.
Why is self-care important?
Self-care it means you're not ignoring you. You mainly understand what it. So I'm like, for me, I serve people. I'm a servant. I help a lot of people. I support a lot of people. But if I can't take care of myself, how can I help anybody else? I'm self aware. I know when I'm sick. I know when I can't feed nobody. I can't pour into nobody else because I'm not in the right space mentally. And it comes a time in human nature where you just can't do for others.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. But you make sure that you take care of yourself. Always speak positive affirmations on yourself. Always praise yourself. Always boost yourself up before anybody do it. Because you got to be selfish in the self-care too. Don't let nobody interrupt that as well, because we forget about us more than we think about others.
You think parents could do that?
Man, that's one of the hardest things for parents to do.
Yeah.
Because, yes, they can do it, right? Yes, they can do it, but are they willing to do it? It's so hard to be selfish with yourself when people are dependent on you.
Yeah.
Yep. So you got to learn how to do it too. You know what I mean? When to do it, but always take care of yourself first.
Oh,
And self-care could just be, like you said, we just talked about it early on. Dating yourself, meditating, silence in the world, disconnecting from social media. It all goes into that.
when I'm thinking about people that are parents and they don't want to be selfish for themselves in order to become more for their kids because they feel like they're taking away time.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me if this makes sense. If you, as a parent, if you want to take care of yourself just for a little bit and you tell your kids, like, hey, this is my time. I cannot help you with this for right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then from one side, you see, I'm hurting my kids because they want my time right now, but I'm telling them that I don't have the time for them at this moment and I'm taking care of myself. But from another point, you can see that you are educating the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a parent, but I'm still taking care of myself. This is what you're going to need when you get older.
Yeah.
Right now, in this moment, you're going to feel like I'm being selfish. It's not fair. But as you get older, you're going to realize that, and I'm teaching you, no matter what, you still have to take care of you.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense.
Okay, cool. All right.
Well, it makes the most sense. It is.
Hey, you guys do this. Dad, mom, daddy, mommy. As your mom, I need my time. As your dad, I just need 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. You guys leave me alone. And that's okay. 15 minutes, I need some silence. I need to listen to some music. I got to go write, do some work, and I come right back to you guys. I'm going to teach you guys the ways of actually presenting that to your kids. You do that, you teach them how to present that. And when they become fathers and mothers, they can use that.
Yes.
And at the end, be okay with it. Like for the self-care, educate your kids on why you're doing it.
Right.
Why you're doing it, why it's so important, what you're doing it for. And I think that if you start that early when they're young, they'll understand it for you more and more. They'll probably ask, like, hey, Dad, do you need time to yourself? Hey, Mom, do you need time to yourself? You teach them that.
Yeah.
You teach them that young, they'll start asking those questions, and they'll actually be okay to leave you alone because they probably want to be alone sometimes too.
Yes. Have to learn that. You have to learn how to be alone. You self-education within that. Like, you're teaching your children how to reset. Right? And you know, we get programmed by so much. Even our own activities, not even just social media. It's always a reset button for refreshing and, you know, reapproaching life. It's the best way to evolve as a person is to utilize self-care. You understand what I'm saying? And you got to see it from that standpoint because you were created by a higher power. I guarantee you he only was able to create us by resetting. We similar, but we all are different. Mm-hmm. You understand?
Yeah.
So something had to happen. Me and you are very similar, but we still different.
Great. All the way down to the locks.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We look the same,
Yeah.
but we still different. We do some of the same stuff. So if you keep doing the same stuff, and one day if you're not getting different results, you got to change up. You got to do something different. If this is stressing you out, you got to reset.
Scared of the unknown. And like I said earlier, the unknown is a scary place for the unaware.
Yes, sir.
Unknown, it's a scary place. It's a scary place, leaving you shaky. You have no idea. Your mind, your perspective, all your knowledge that you have in this world has no idea what's in the unknown, so it is frightening. It is scary.
Right.
But you got to self-educate and some self-care to get aware so you can be prepared for those things.
Right.
So you can have some type of tool to get out of it.
Man.
Or to utilize the unknown.
I want to share this. And, you know, I think about the way that I was living before. Like for other people, you know, significant others, siblings, you know, business partners, label mates. Dude, I was doing nothing for me. Nothing for me. Always put people before me.
Hmm.
Didn't have a selfish bone. I was like my mom. My mom is free-hearted, kind. She let strangers live in her house. Give her bed up, clothes, everything. And, I was looking at that as a, a good deed. Like, I was like, I'm doing what my mom did on a different level, in a different capacity. But when I struggled, didn't have help. Pouring into everybody else's cup. Wanting to see people. I've cried in front of people that I've helped. In a good spirit, like, oh man, I'm so proud of you. It wasn't about me, But when I was down, I couldn't reach out to nobody and get that. Nobody had to reach out for me to help them. But I thought about it like, I'm living backwards. I got to put me first. And that's when I came up with the superhero versus the human thing. That's my philosophy of life.
Please tell me that philosophy.
Man, I every time I do something for somebody or go outside my door,
Yeah.
I got a cape on. Trying to save the world. But I wasn't trying to save myself. I had to reset and go back to understanding what the human nature was for me. And I started taking care of things that was right in front of me for me.
That really sets life up.
And then I started helping other people.
It makes you a stronger person, too. You realize that, too.
Yes.
When you really start taking care of yourself, boy, you can take care of people even better.
Even better.
Even more. And you got the capacity for it, too. The capacity for it is, man, when you really start setting your life up and putting your life in order,
Yes, sir.
you can help out so many people instead of just pouring out and running out of energy.
What?
Yes.
That was me. Superhero versus. Now it's human versus the superhero. I'm thriving so much in my human life. I'm scared to try to be the most superhero guy that I tried to be before.
Yeah.
Because it feels better this way.
Yeah.
I used to always say, I'm going to get this record deal. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But then I thought that, by helping others, it would be better that way, pushing people. Because that's why I took a step back to push others. But I did get that record deal. I signed myself to myself, took care of my responsibilities for me, and everything else followed. And it's so like I put the cape on sometime, but not all the time. I can't help when I want to. I'm selective.
Very selective.
You understand? I'm
You
like,
have to be. You have to be
I'm
selective. You can't help. You can't. If somebody's not willing to not be lost, you can't help them find.
right.
You
That's
can't.
dope.
You can't.
Say that again.
If somebody's not willing to not be lost, you can't help them.
That's
you can't help
cool.
them find anything.
Write
Nothing.
that down. That's cool.
Nothing. And I had to learn that the hard way from reaching out, trying to help somebody else. But they didn't want to do any work themselves.
Right.
They didn't want to be found. They wanted to stay lost. They wanted to stay lost, and they just wanted handouts and then continue to be lost. And so I learned to look for, okay, if I'm helping this person, I could tell now, I can read it right off the back. Are they actually going to help themselves? Are they already in the midst of helping themselves? And I've run into plenty of people like that now because my energy's changed.
Right.
I've self-educated myself. I got self-aware. I know how to read that energy now. And it's real. You can't help those that don't want no help, man. You can't.
And what is help? What is help today?
help?
What is it? And I throw that question at you. What is help?
Knowledge, making people aware, giving them tools. It's not money.
And I love that response because it's not, I don't have to. I could.
Thanks for putting me on the spot, too. I
No, for
appreciate
sure.
that.
I can help you with this table. I don't have to carry it for you. You got to still guide me through the help that I'm giving you because you the one need that, right? You asking me for help, but you want me to do everything for you? That ain't help.
I ask questions. If somebody needs help, I ask questions. I ask a lot of questions so they can find the answers themselves. I could be help. I could be very helpful. I could be very helpful. But there's nothing that I can do that you cannot do. So I'm going to ask a lot of questions and get you there. The best thing I can give you is time, energy, and knowledge, and tools for you to get that help. I could be very helpful. I could be
Come on now.
tremendously helpful, man.
Come on, man.
Money. I found that money doesn't do anything. It's not helpful.
Right.
I've run into a lot of people, even growing up. Hey, can I get this? Can I get that? Can I get $20? Yeah, you can get $20, but you're gonna need $20 again. If you ask me for $5, you're gonna need $5 again. It's not gonna do anything for you. Are you willing to be educated? Are you willing to get help? Are you willing to let me teach?
Teaching in the help. Teaching in the help.
Are you open for that? Or you just want these handouts so you keep on going about and doing the same thing you're doing, which is leading you to needing that $5?
Teaching in the help.
Humility, man. Humility. And then I look for also with people when it comes to helping, reciprocity. Reciprocity. It is needed in every friendship, every relationship, everything. Like you said, you pour into people's cup.
Gotta pour in yours.
Now their cup is full or is filling up. Are they trying to pour in other people's cup? Are they trying to pour back? Is there any gratitude or anything in there? All my friends, all of my friends, I can say, man, they are some of the best reciprocators, if that's even a word, that I've ever seen. And even more. And we constantly show up for each other. All the time. All the time. That's one thing I did. That's one thing I no longer have to worry about.
Right.
And it is very helpful for the mental. If you have friends that you don't have to worry about, friends that you can have great conversations with, hard conversations with, you can show love and they show it back. You do things for them, they do things for you. You help them. It just goes back and forth. You are constantly making effort. It's effort. They're making effort.
Which leads that to, let me ask you about expectations now. When you talk about that, when you got these people in line, you talk about principle versus expectation. How is that fair in all of your friendships? What is the expectation and the principle?
Expectation is to love unconditionally and to put in effort. If there's no effort from you and on any level, I am not wasting my precious time or my precious energy or my precious peace. Unconditional love and effort. I don't care if the effort is giving me a call once a month or twice a month.
Right.
And checking on me. Effort. That's effort.
Right.
That's what I mean by effort. And with the people I'm around, it's more than that. Like, yo, what you got going on today? Let's go over here and we can do this thing. Like, I got invited to the hiking. Best thing this week.
Right. What about the principle, though, with the relationship? What is the principle?
Accepting differences and being okay with it. Accepting perspectives and being okay with it. No one knows everything. No one knows the absolute truth. And being okay with it. We abide by that a lot, all the time. Someone feels different, like, oh, that's just your opinion. That's your perspective. That's cool. And we're okay with that. We still love each other. That's why when we get in arguments, it's chosen arguments, and it's not even arguments, really. But we love each other through it, with it, after it, before it, and it's cool. It is. Through our differences, we become stronger. We become stronger. We do. Through all of our differences, we become so strong. So strong because we get to learn more.
Yeah.
And we get to teach each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's
amazing, man.
That right there. What are some tools that... Actually, what's effort to you? What's
effort?
help to you?
What's help to me?
What's help and what's effort?
When I think about help, it just depends on, it's situational. Like my mom, she need help. She barely can move. Her mobility is different now. She can't do the things she used to. So I come in on the other side of the equation and I support her. I come in, the things that she normally take 3 days to do, I help her accomplish it in one. Get around, pay her bills. You understand what I'm saying? Lift things up, help her up the stairs, help her get to sit down, and things like that. That goes with effort. I'm her son. That expectation, that's principle. I couldn't do enough for my mom to pay her back for anything she's ever done. And we always say, we didn't ask to be here. No, I don't care. I'm here. Like, and and to be transparent, I don't get the opportunity to help my mom as much as I would like to. I don't get a chance to support my mom as much as I want to. I know educating my mom, she's stuck in her ways. So I try to help her, communicate well and, just teach her, how things are today because she's so stuck in the past.
Yeah.
And my mom kind of get a lonely sickness. So I have to give her that attention. And sometimes I can't. So I feel bad sometimes, So for me, with effort and like that's an example for my mom. Now, somebody that I know, I got situations where people try to use me and overuse me, thinking that help is helping them pay their bills, like giving them a lump sum of this, or they ask me the day of things are due.
I don't do that.
You get what I'm saying? And
yeah,
I just don't understand how that's helping you. I think I'm hindering you.
You are hindering.
You understand? So things like that, like if I could physically collaborate with you and get you over the hump and we accomplish your goal, I helped you. But if I gotta physically push you over the hump, then take you over here and do this, open the door, close the door, pick up the crap, blah, 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 I did more than help. Now I'm like, dang, some of that stuff is worth compensation. It's crazy because like my mom, after I helped her with this, like a 20-hour time I was with her and I helped her accomplish all of these things. Why is she offering me money? She understand though. Yeah. She understand. That's crazy, right? She's offering me money. And it's crazy because my mother, rest in peace to my mother's mom, she was the same way. I was living out of town, and I used to visit my grandmother more than all my other cousins and, uncles and everybody. She used to be like, you come see me more than anybody. You talk to me more than anybody. And people live up the street. You live hours away. I'm taking the garbage out. She trying to pay me. But she ultimately telling me to live my life like, you don't have to do this for me. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just think like it's certain things that's principle, certain things that's expectation. And when you talk about help, you're not supposed to, like, it depends on the situation. Like I said, it's a thin line between
It's a thin line.
helping somebody and doing everything for them.
And when I help, I do try to coach and educate, because if I have to help you over and over and over and over again and it's getting nowhere, I'm going to have to educate you and coach you on prepping. Like you said, if somebody called you, they need a bill paid, but they call you that day, but you had all this time to call me, and knowing what led up to this bill getting not paid for. You couldn't call me a week before, but now you're going to set me in a deficit of time and energy and my work ethic that I put in to earn this social construct of money, and now I have to hand it over to you because you're not prepping right for life.
Do you care about that putting a sting in your relationship with that person?
I'm going to have a conversation with them. And to be honest with me, I don't know if I don't know if they're in a city and growing up in that type of life has made me this way. But if I have a conversation with you on multiple levels and then nothing is happening, nothing is going to happen again. And that's just me. Like, what are we actually doing with life? Are we moving forward? Or are you just going to stay there? Are we leveling up? Are you going to listen? Or are we just going to stay there? And sometimes I have to move on. I have to move on. And if I have love for you and you have love for me, I'll meet you on that level. But I'm no longer helping anything. Don't call me for no money. None of that. Call me because you love me. Call me for some time to listen or some time to chop it up. Other than that, I'm not doing that. I've lived that. I've done that before, and I've taken food out of my house, my place, to give to you for you not to even educate yourself or get better with it. Just do it over and over again. I was like, this has to stop. You're not learning.
Sir.
You're not learning. Does it bear fruit? Is our friendship bearing any fruit?
Mm.
So I'm gonna meet you where you're at, and I'm gonna meet you there for a short period of time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My friends that have growth mindsets and we're really about going out there and following vision and purpose, I have to put time into that.
Yeah, that's crazy because you get put in a bad situation a lot of times. This could cause our relationship. Like, it happens. It's either you don't accept the fact that you came at me needing this type of help.
Yeah.
And then me on the other person on the other end, like, he ain't helped me, so I ain't my. You get what I'm saying?
that.
It just be like certain things that could reroute the connectivity of the relationship. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Things like that. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, I just had to ask that question.
No, I appreciate that question, but I've always felt like that because there was a time where I couldn't say no.
Mm.
I didn't have the self-education or the self-care enough to say no. But
And
now I
it's
know how
okay.
to say no, and no is a full sentence. No.
And it's
Do I have
okay.
it? I'm going to set that boundary and tell you I do not have it. Well, you have it next week? I won't. Can you help me out? I can teach you something.
That's a good way to respond.
Yeah.
No is okay, everybody.
No is very okay. No is a great boundary. Learn how to say no when you need to say no.
Don't apologize.
And do not apologize. It's okay. Some of my friends say it could go down to a simple thing of, hey, you want to go somewhere on Friday? No, I can't make it. Say no. Maybe. Then maybe turns into disappointment.
Yep.
Nah, can I go there? You know what? That's not even my vibe. I'm not going.
Not going.
I tell people that all the time. It's like, I don't like it, so I'm not going. That's not my type of place. That's for you. Go ahead and go. But I'm not going. No.
Most definitely.
And I can say no with love. I cannot make that. I cannot go there. I will not be there.
Let me know how it went tomorrow.
No, I would love to hear your story.
Right.
Please tell me how it went.
Yeah.
Please tell me how it went. What are some tools people can leave for self-care and self-education?
Tools, self-care, self-education. I say be selfish for yourself. Study yourself. Put yourself in situations where you got to make a decision for yourself and meditate. Most definitely. Shut the world off. And don't let negative influences intercept your positive thoughts.
How do you study yourself?
Study yourself. Well, like I say, certain situations, like prime example, Taco Bell had poor customer service, and I went around the line twice, and the manager told me he wasn't going to fix my order and he wasn't going to make it fresh. The old crazy me,
Yeah.
I would have went off. I'd have got out the car. I paused in the moment, and I said things in my head, and I didn't let him out. And I was like, did he really? In my head, that situation allowed me to notice a change in myself.
Pausing.
Just
An inner
pausing.
dialogue.
I didn't freeze.
Yeah.
I paused because you know how you could text something, a status, and you'd be like, no, I ain't putting that. Was kind of like that moment. I was finna go off. My mom was in the vehicle, my auntie, and her granddaughter. And I was like, I can't believe he said he wasn't going. And I changed. I said, thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah. And move
That
on.
situation.
Move on.
So, yeah, like the crazy thing about the Taco Bell situation, I complained, but guess what? It wasn't even my food that was cold.
Yeah.
That was cold. It was my auntie and my mom fries. It was their fries. It was their fries. But, you know, I spent the money.
Yeah.
They wasn't going to say nothing. So I'm like, why am I even tripping? They didn't even want the fries that hot. You know how sometimes we be like, we want them hot so we know they came out the grease. Like my auntie and my mom, they was like, oh, he's pretty. They smashing them, but I had to catch myself. I'm like, and we ate in Taco Bell parking lot. Let me tell you how paranoid my mother was. You about to go in there and say something? I'm like, no. I'm gonna go in here because they didn't put the spork in the bag for my whatever. I had like the rice bowl. I went in there and just got and I was retracing old steps and erasing old steps because I would have went in there and went off. But I did recognize he had a long line. And he told me he was
frustrated.
He wasn't dropping no new fries because he had 20 orders.
Being able to look at that, and that reminds me of a lot. Being able to recognize when somebody's going off on you, that means something's off. Anytime somebody cut me off in traffic or yelling at me, it's not me. It has nothing to do with me. They are going through something, and I'm not adding fuel to the fire. I'm going to be me and protect my peace and protect my energy. I hope one day they find peace or whatever they're going through, they figure it out.
Oh, that moment.
You get to see that.
Those situations will teach you a lot about yourself. You can learn a lot in those moments.
Look at what you did, man. You went in there and you saw that, oh, he has a long line. He's frustrated. It's not even me. Poor guy. And he's sitting like, dang, this is why. And I'm sitting there adding fuel to the fire. I could have potentially added a lot of fuel to the fire.
Come on.
I could have done that. Now that's me.
$29. I was like, I spent, I seen a dude depressed.
Yeah.
In Taco Bell.
And that's not what we're about life.
You get what I'm saying? We want to uplift and be positive. I could have allowed that. And they got to make the food. They got to,
Yeah.
I don't want nobody playing with my food. I ain't finna argue with nobody that's.
Now my food. Energy is in the food. I don't eat everybody cooking. People always wonder why. I do not eat everybody
We the same.
Cooking. I do not. I'm not touching. If I don't know you or love you or feel some good connection or energy, I'm not eating your food. So if you ever see me and why you're not eating my cookies or anything that I made, if I don't feel it, I'm going to just say no and be okay with that.
No. I'm going to go deeper. You know why I'm not going to really eat the food?
Why's that?
I ain't see you make it.
That too.
And I wasn't there. I ain't get you no seasoning. And I got allergies. I got all type of stuff. You think you could just throw anything in that food and give it to me?
Energy is real. Energy is real.
You understand?
You're using your love and your time and your energy and your peace to make that food. And if it's not good energy or peace, do not give it to me because I'm not putting that in my body.
You can't just be consuming everything, man. People be putting stuff in there that you don't even know you allergic. Like, I just learned my allergies recently. I can't eat lemon.
I'm not looking forward to that.
Every time I go somewhere, you got lemon in that. You got buckwheat in that. Is there peaches in that? I can't eat it. And then my wife got way more than me, so I share a life with her. I eat what she eat, and I don't eat what she can't eat. Like, I'm like that. We don't put it in our house.
I like that. There was something you said. You didn't react. You responded.
Yep.
And with that comes being able to, a tool you can use, pausing. Pausing in a moment and having that inner dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
And actually listening to that voice and telling yourself how to properly respond so that you don't derail yourself from your energy or derail somebody else's energy or make it worse.
Mm-hmm.
Or cause a chain reaction in your day. Because people don't realize the littlest thing can mess up a whole day, which can mess up the next day because how you go to bed and how you wake up in the morning. And I have to start changing. I have to start waking up very positive in the morning. Like, okay, let's go. Got to see another day. I am very grateful.
Yes, sir.
Very grateful.
Yes, sir.
Self-educate yourself on that.
Well, for me, I wasn't good at that. Prideful. The ego, crazy.
Ego can be a big enemy.
Last word type of dude.
Yeah.
My way or the highway.
Oh.
It ain't worth it. You talk about energy throughout the day. I'm not allowing one person or one thing to interrupt my happiness and my peace. So, even it don't matter who it is. Like I told you, I'm not finna be nowhere where I'm not celebrated or tolerated. Like, I need to be where the respect is, where the love is, where the good spirit is. And I ultimately need to deliver that myself. So in order for me to get that back, I had to deliver it. And I can ultimately be whoever I want to be. You understand? The mind is crazy. You could do whatever you want to do with your mind. And then your gut feeling, too, is crazy because I use my gut. I'm intentional. I'm intentional. Sometimes your brain can fight with your gut because your heart is out of place. You understand what I'm saying? It's
When
a
it's
tangle.
aligned, the spirit speaks,
Yes.
and you can listen to the spirit.
And that's what that pause is. The inner voice.
Yeah,
and
the inner voice.
I wasn't able to do that. And, you know, just being in like the behavioral health sector and just learning how to use therapeutic language and, you know, just being in the know, because I didn't know while I'm trying to teach somebody how to not do something or react a certain kind of way. I had to utilize that too. I had to be the doer of the stuff that I was preaching. So now it's like I needed somebody. In that moment, I needed somebody. My mom, they wasn't gonna calm me down. They so used to me outbursting.
Yeah.
I had somebody had their hands on me that day, you know, and I think I'm getting more consistent with that. And I learned through error. Like I made a lot of mistakes of responding wrong, and I always tell myself I'm gonna change. I gotta be different. I can't be doing all this reactive stuff because it don't always lead you to the right space, and you know it ain't healthy for you. So I learned from a lot of unhealthy situations to be on the other side, because I can ultimately be unhealthy too and go with that. Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
go ahead. How are my reactions affecting the person in front of me? Because you could be damaging someone. So I've learned how to judge that. Like, am I about to deliver this message out of pure reaction and pure fire with some ill intent to affect this person for a long time? What we deliver is compound interest as well. It is. You mess up somebody's day, man. Oh, man. I remember those days when I did that, and I still remember moments that sting to this day, because I had the audacity to mess up somebody's day because I was having a bad day, but I had no knowledge or education, or I wasn't self-aware enough to realize I was messing up somebody's day. I remember that. Oh, man. I remember they looked at me kind of in fear and scared, and I was like, I just did, and it hit, and it never, a lot changed that day once I seen that and recognized it, and I could never apologize because I'm pretty sure I'll never see him again. My everything I was going through in life, trauma, everything, I was just reacting all the time, and I noticed that I really messed up somebody's day. I was like, they're never coming back to the store again because I just did that. And I didn't even mess up their day with words. My energy, my facial expressions, my terribly angry face of looking at somebody because I was waking up in a bad mood, had a bad day, and just going through life. All my trauma, everything just constantly there, right there on the forefront all the time. So it's just constant reaction. My face is just wearing everything. And they got to see that. And I was like, I'm tired. In my mind, I'm like, I'm tired. Y'all need to leave me the F alone.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it, but my face is saying it. And when they saw that, when I turned around, they saw my face. And yeah, man, I can't say regrets, but it's one of those things I constantly think about that moment. It was a mom and her adult son just going there grocery shopping together. And I did that. I single-handedly did that. And that could mess up. I know how that feels for someone to mess up your whole day.
No,
or
for sure.
To go somewhere, get a cup of coffee or something, and somebody's just having a bad day. Are going through a tough time, and they take it out on you, whether it's a facial expression, the language, or how they take care of you. And I did that.
You think that's a learned behavior? Because society is crazy.
I think it's more than a learned behavior. For me, it was a trauma behavior. I was thinking about how hard life. I remember that day. I was thinking about how hard life was and all the vicissitudes that came my way, and I didn't know how to handle it. And on top of that, everything else is happening. I'm trying to go through school. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to work more than a full-time job. I'm trying to work 2 jobs at a time. Trying to go professional in this and doing that. And while else all my trauma is still in the back of my head, not subconsciously, very consciously, just a little back there, and it's all kicking at one time. No self-love or anything. And you imagine all that on somebody's face when they look at you. And turn around, I took it all out on them just by looking at them. And I don't like doing that.
And that's the thing. We are creatures of habit, right? We see things that we ain't supposed to see. We learn them by default. We become things. Trauma happens, all of these things. And when you grow up and you recognize that, you gotta be willing to forgive your circumstances and yourself, right? You could break somebody's day, but you can also make somebody's day. I feel like in my life I've made a lot of people's days more than I broke them. And
and those sting.
You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
those learned behaviors, like I say, like I could be any beast. I could be whatever. Like you say, I don't even gotta say nothing. You could just, but like it ain't worth it. Now, like when you grow up, you know when to turn it on and turn it off.
When to turn it. It was so integrated dark side. It was one of my dark sides. It was I in a very healthy way I integrated it. And I know when to use it. I know how to healthily use it too.
Right.
And it's to protect my peace and my energy.
You gotta show up some kind of way.
Some type of way.
And the judging part, like you see yourself a certain kind of way, but other people might see you different.
Yeah.
And it's okay until they get to know. Like some people don't get an opportunity to know, but sometimes people can remember the energy or the facial expressions or what you said, and it just don't sit well with them. You understand? Like I told you, a lot of people, for me, they think I'm militant. They don't think I got another side. They don't think I'm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's just because I learned how to put a mask on because I've been crossed a lot. You ain't finna take advantage of me. You gotta earn me to put them guards down. I don't know why I'm like that. It's just like
I don't find anything wrong with that.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't. It's needed.
Okay, I guess.
You got your armor. Putting your armor on. I walk outside like I know. I read, and it's reading energy. It's knowing when and when not to. It's using your tools.
Right.
Like this militant tool right now is needed. It's needed. But once we're done with this, we can move on to having some fun. And you get to see that. Different parts of you getting embraced and learning how to use it when it's needed.
Most definitely.
When I need to use my militant part, I use it. And it's needed. It's very calculated and very needed at that time. You can't just go through your whole life being passive and nice. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way at all. At all. You will get ran over.
For sure.
It's needed. It's integrated. It makes us stronger human beings because we have all these different parts we could pull out when we need it to. Whenever I needed it, I was like, oh, okay, it's time for this. Let me turn this on real quick. Oh, I can feel this person's about to intrude on my peace. Let me use this real quick. Let me use my militant side and set my boundary. No, you cannot cross this line. So it's very needed. Everything
Most
you're saying is very needed. And people like that about a person. It's a well put together person that has all these pieces and they know when to use them.
That's because like I say, it's so. Man, my mom is amazing. Society has taught me a lot of false things.
Yeah.
But I love the way my mom sheltered me. And people think I'm crazy because like, oh man, you always in survival. No, I'm living as well. But I know when that time comes, I've learned from the best. My mom, my mom don't go nowhere. She don't think she gonna be accepted. My mom don't do nothing that she ain't supposed to do. She's intentional. You understand what I'm saying? So like if I'm being militant and I'm being strong-armed with my shield up, that's me. I'm intentional. Like you said, ain't nothing wrong with it. Because this is like, you don't get it twisted. I do have that. You know what I mean? So yeah, like my mom is like that too. You would think my mom is racist the way she act, especially with the other color.
Yeah,
she's selective. You understand? She's
selective.
very selective about who she talked to and how she remember. And I don't know everything about how she's been brought up.
True.
You understand? So I just had to share that too because I think that we all need to be like that.
I'm selective with every single person I interact with is going to bear fruit. And I can tell that from our first interaction. The certain words you use in a sentence, how we shake hands, how we greet each other, all the way. So yes, having a shield up or putting up a healthy wall, like, nah, you can't pass this, stop asking all these questions. We're not talking about this. You're not going to ask me a lot of personal questions and then walk away. and just take that and just walk away and then go tell somebody else. And next thing you know, that's me
Right.
protecting my peace and my boundaries and my energy. So no, when you say that, yeah, it's needed.
Most definitely.
It is absolutely needed. And that comes with self-care. Take care of yourself. Protect your energy and protect your peace. So yeah, man. I like that.
Yes, sir.
I like that. Is there anything else you want to tell anybody else before we get off this podcast, man?
Yeah, man. It's a lot of living comes with situational awareness, and it's based on self. Based on how you prepare yourself, teach yourself, and support yourself. That'll be the way of the world, because you can't do nothing without taking care of yourself first. And the biggest thing, be intentional about what you want to learn and not allow people to dictate what you learn, how you learn, when you learn. Because self-education is more than the stuff they formalize for us to learn. Because you want to utilize a lot of those things in life. You would be disciplined for somebody to say, read 50 pages of this book and give me a synopsis of what you read. But if you choose something that you want to do and read, it'll stick. It'll stick. So understand, I ain't saying you self-made. Don't get it twisted. But self-educate, be self-aware, and do everything for self first. Everything else will follow.
Date yourself. Love yourself.
Yep.
Look in the mirror and say, I love you. To yourself is needed. Write to yourself. Journal to yourself. Speak to yourself. Speak life into yourself. Uplift yourself. It is needed.
Positive affirmations.
Positive affirmations. We have enough negativity going in our head by default of knowledge alone. Uplift yourself. Feed yourself positive energy, positive words. That's why I'm careful about what goes in my ear. Positive affirmations is needed. Uplift yourself. Love yourself. And move forward.
Hey, use your inner voice. I promise it helps. Pause. It ain't freezing. You just pausing. And utilize that before you respond or before you react. It's very imperative to life.
Very imperative. Love. I can't say that enough.
Oh, man.
Love. Effort. Put some effort in for yourself.
Yes, sir.
Love. Effort might be the main component of love. You got to put that effort in. Action. Show yourself some love. Speak life into yourself, man. I can't say that enough.
Most definitely.
You want to change something about yourself? Put some effort in and do it. And love yourself in the process. Love yourself where you're at and where you're going. And enjoy your journey. Enjoy your process.
And expect and accept nothing from nobody that you're not comfortable with.
Yeah. Learn how to say no.
Learn how to say no.
No.
Yes.
Learn how to say no.
Yes.
There's so much power in no, and it's simple.
Mm-hmm. He said it's one sentence.
It is one sentence. Somebody always, and I tell people, I correct people when they do this to me too. Hey, Gary, you want to go? Hey, Gary, would you like to go here? No. Oh, man, why not? No, you just asked me a yes or no question. And I said no, so respect what I'm saying. I don't want to go.
Yes.
I don't want to go. It's not my thing. Oh, why not? Not much more needs to be said. Most of the time I leave it at that, even with my friends. It's just not my thing, man. Respect my boundaries, and it's okay to say that to people too.
Yes, sir.
I think that makes a greater friendship where you can actually speak and have those little small hard talks.
Right.
Of respect my boundaries and say those things.
Understand that you have to be a really good human before you become a superhero. Never forget that.
I'm going to end it on that one. I like that.
For sure.
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, anytime, man.
All right, M.A. Johnson, where can they find you real quick?
Man, social media, M.A. Johnson. Simple as that. Social media platforms, you got Facebook, you got Instagram, you got Twitter. And you also have a lot of my music on the online stores such as Spotify, Apple Music. You got what else y'all listening to out there? Amazon Music.
There you go.
You got Tidal and whatever
poetry?
else. Huh?
You do poetry?
I mean, music is poetry.
It is.
Lyrics is poetry. My stanzas, I formulate my stanzas like a poet.
I know this is off, but do you have anything you remember from the top of your head from your music?
I mean, yeah. It's easy. You want lines, stanzas? or
However
something
you want to do it.
poetically?
Sound poetically, however you want to do it. Speak it into the mic.
Look how they tricking us, using wickedness just to sicken us. Ridiculous. Supposed to be about love like Corinthians. It's lost souls in these villages. I seen a 5-year-old light a cigarette innocent. He was left all alone on the premises hitting it. No supervision. That's what we lack in the system, distracted by government practice for victims, filling up prisons, took it out to go back for a sentence we barely read. And we happy because they legalized weed. Back in 2002, it got my brother 15, taking his dreams to the trap where he not mentally free, in position like they know what we need. All we see is the greed. We in the last days. Treat us like slaves because they own our last name, searching for fortune and fame. You got to die to be saved. I'm trying to behave. But it's a shame when cops in the same color shooting us for the same color we shame. It's war everywhere, and it's not going to change. I don't care about who the president. I'm hoping for change. You think it's a game, but you know my name.
Thank you.
No problem.
Fixing my biological clock. Circadian rhythm is all I got. Cleaning the body, it takes a lot. Been out of sync, time for the detox. Eat nothing before 12 or after 8. It take a lot of discipline and some ain't. I got my flaws, man, I love cake. All on midnight snacks gave me this little weight. I know I'm better off juicing, sometimes I play it stupid. All this poison I'm craving, it's only making mucus. Unhealthy, I can't make excuses. I need a better diet, don't wanna be toothless. I gotta watch what I be chewing. Lay off the meat, get some more soups in. For better days I imagine, but until then I'ma practice. My nigga, I'm fasting. For my mind, body, and soul. Meditation, separation, leave me alone. I'm fasting. Listen to me in different tones.